And welcome to episode 83 of the TechnoBuffalo Show. I'm one of your two hosts for today, Sean, editor-in-chief of the site, and I'm joined by Deputy Managing Editor Todd Hazelton.
Hey, everybody.
How are you doing today, Todd?
Good.
It's been a busy week at TechnoBuffalo.
Yeah.
Really just sitting around having GIF wars in the Slack room and
just messing around.
Yes, it's all that fun. Yeah, for anyone that uses Slack HQ, if you want to have a real fun time, just do the Jiffy command and then just enter Aune, AUNE, and see what comes up. We don't know why, but it's almost 99% of the time a picture of Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, whatever reason. It's our company work chat, by the way. That's what Slack is.
Yes, so I have decided that Jennifer Lawrence is my spirit animal. So moving on, nothing big happened this week. Totally quiet.
Well, it's kind of funny because I know we always make that joke, and it's like, oh, nothing big. But except nothing big really did happen this week.
No, actually, it was quite small.
Yeah, that's right. But
so
even it's like,
For those that don't get the joke, of course, there was an Apple event on Monday, and we were introduced to the iPhone SE, the best kept secret in mobile.
Yeah.
And the smaller version of the iPad Pro, which, once again, Apple, gotta love that naming.
Yeah. So Apple made it hard on us by calling it the iPad Pro again, even though it's smaller with a 9.7-inch screen instead of a 12.9. So it's like, what do we call it? And, like in our industry, it's especially difficult for like SEO and stuff. If we're trying to reference one of the tablets, not the other, now we got to say, now we got to type out 12.9 or 9.7 iPad Pro instead of just calling it iPad Pro or iPad Pro Mini. And it's a headache.
I mean, I can understand why they didn't go with Mini. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, because it's still not mini.
Yeah, exactly. But just calling it iPad Pro was just nonsensical.
Yeah.
And hey, new Apple Watch bands.
Yeah, right.
That was exciting.
Boring. I guess my litmus test for a lot of these things too, like how much do I care, is sort of like the day they are released or the pre-order. I was like on the store today, like, oh, like, am I interested at all? And like, just not even a part of me was interested in buying either one of the products or the Apple Watch bands. I was just like, don't care, no way. I mean, and here's the thing, because iPad's cool, whatever. I'm kind of tired of it. And okay, it gets a pencil, but I'm not going to spend that kind of money. And I want the keyboard case, but I'm not going to spend that kind of money. And we were just talking a little bit before the show, but I have Samsung's Tab Pro S. I think I talked about this a little bit last week, but to me, that full Windows 10 experience is so much better. And with the keyboard, it's $899. And I don't know, it's just like the iPad, it just feels like stunted in a lot of ways. Like, sure, you can have the side-by-side apps, but who cares? I mean, like, I could have a full, complete Windows system. And that's the Windows fanboy in me talking, obviously, but...
So you admit you're a fanboy.
I mean, I've said that before. I've always loved Windows. Like, I grew up with Windows and tinkering around with it and stuff, and I'm on Windows now. But look, I have an iPhone too. I have a MacBook Pro that I use for work, and so I don't know. It's just, there's something about Windows that I've always liked. And look, everybody hates on Windows, so I feel like it's okay to at least like stand up for it here and there.
Oh, totally. Well, I just... I didn't walk away from the event, feeling like I needed anything that they talked about. Let's talk about the iPhone SE first. Who, in your opinion, is that phone directed at? Because we've had a lot of discussions about this.
Yeah, well, I feel like iPhone 5S owners that have been like, oh, Apple's iPhones are too large or too big, and I guess there's still a lot of those users out there. I can't talk. Apple said they sold 30 million iPhone 5S units in last year in 2015. So that's a lot of people. But I also think the important markets that they were talking about, or they didn't really talk about, I guess, but that everybody knows, are India and China too. But I guess the one thing is, especially in Asia, the big phones are really popular, but low cost. Apple's got to fight there. And I mean, $399 is not low cost, but it's a heck of a lot cheap. I mean, you get most of the same hardware as the 6S and 6S Plus, but for like half the price, right? Something I'd have to do the math on. I didn't look yet, but $399 starting. But you only get 16 gigs of storage, which I've talked about before. No way should you get a phone with just 16 gigs of storage. But
that's so ridiculous. And then you look at the new iPad Pro and the fact that it jumps from 32 to 128.
Yeah. And now there's that 256 gig option, which had me wondering too a little bit, like, does that open the doors? And I think it does for an iPhone 7 with 256, which is pretty cool. There's the argument, of course, like, do you need that much storage? And for most people, no. But yeah, I always buy the 128 model. But so then it's like, well, what's Apple going to offer? Because, we knocked them this year for having 16 gig. What is it? 16 gig, 64 and 128? Or is there a 32 in there too?
No,
I don't think there is.
No, they skipped 32.
So like, what are they going to do if there's 256 in there? They got to get rid of 16. And then you start to wonder, are they going to just do 32, 128, 256? But then that's kind of weird. So maybe it's 32, 64, 256. I don't know. Did you see, also the number of like iPads they're selling now and how they accidentally now have the iPad Air 2 and the iPad Mini 4 priced the exact same, which is just silly.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so Best Buy had to knock $100 off. Well, didn't have to, but did $100 off the iPad Mini 4 so that like it made more sense. Like, it's just starting to be like, what are you guys doing?
I don't know. I keep
what they're seeing these pictures of the Apple Pencil charging in the Lightning port, which just reminds me how ridiculous it is. And like, I'm not hating on Apple. Hating on Apple. Why can't I talk today? I'm not hating on Apple. This is a long week. Like I said to Sean, like the day after an Apple event, I just feel brain dead. But here we are, 3 days later. It doesn't seem like Apple, those kind of design choices. And here we are with like an iPad Pro that's the same as the other iPad Pro, just smaller. You have basically like the iPhone SE, which is the phones that were announced in September, but not as powerful in some ways, like Touch ID's first generation, for example. And then it's in a body of a phone that's however many years old. Like, I get there's like slight design changes and color changes, but it just felt like, okay, who cares? Like, none of this is groundbreaking. And then I'm like, well, all right, we had to wait till June for WWDC 2016, or we wait till September for the new iPhones. But I just walked away from it just like, that was a weird Apple event, I mean, for a company that everybody's been, praising and sort of groundbreaking, it felt blah. And Samsung, meanwhile, is like Gear VR, which is very cool. It's only $100, and just, I don't know, these other companies feel a lot more aggressive.
Yeah, the thing is, though, if you think back, we've said what a weird Apple event after like the last 3.
Yeah. But it was for different reasons each time. Like, one was kind of funny. Remember, they made like a pot joke. I forget the other one. I don't know. It's just like, I was saying this in an email that you were on actually yesterday, but there's a long overdue article about sort of how Apple seems to be playing it very safe. And in this case, almost so safe that it didn't do anything that was cool, except for like, I mean, this wasn't even cool, but like different colored Apple Watch bands. Like, who cares? Where you have like LG, meanwhile, releasing Friends for the G5. And I'm not saying that that's a good idea. It's just doing something different. And my point there was that, LG seems to see, and I think Samsung seems to see, that the future of the smartphone is not actually the smartphone itself. Sort of like LG's Friends are like the home robot that it announced, the accessories to plug into it, 360 cameras that are giving you virtual reality experiences on your phone that you're then viewing through a headset. Samsung likewise is doing all those things too, I think better than LG, especially with the Gear VR. And so it's like you have a smartphone that powers maybe a dozen other experiences. And when you look at Apple, it's not doing any of that in the smartphone space. The only thing I guess you could argue is that it's doing it with the Apple Watch and with payments and stuff like that, which is fair, but so is everybody else. So
yeah, I don't know. It's and we got a couple questions here from Sachin Bahal, which, by the way, happy early birthday to Sachin, whose birthday is on the 28th. So we have 2 questions here that are kind of related to this. How come Apple didn't call the iPhone SE the iPhone 6S Mini or something like that? What does SE even mean? The S usually means speed, right? and then his related question: Why do you guys think? What do you guys think of the iPhone SE, and why didn't they think it was called the iPhone 5 SE, like the rumor suggested? Well, I think we're close enough to the iPhone 7 that if they did call it iPhone 5 SE, that could have put some stink on it, essentially, because everyone would have thought it was 2 generations behind.
Yeah, I agree.
But then that makes a very good point for what he says about why didn't they call it iPhone 6s Mini or compact, or, which I know Sony's got that word locked down, but mini, compact, diminutive.
Right.
The fact that they took the number out of it, I think may not have been the best choice, because it's got iPhone 6 internals or 6s internals, but iPhone 5s body, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Taking it out of the numbering system also seems a little odd.
Yeah, it's almost like an iPhone Mini probably would have made a better choice. And I don't know what SE stands for. I think it was like special edition or second edition.
Special edition has been my assumption for a while.
Probably. But I don't. And has Apple ever really said what the S stands for? Like, I know they've had, like, I think it was the commercials where they said the S stood for a lot of things, like speed.
Back at the 3GS, that was when S was said to be for speed. And
right, because they were adding. Yeah.
Right. And ever since then, though, I think it's just what they call the in-between year.
Right, yeah. That's what I think it is, too. It's sort of like the second gen. I don't know. But I was also thinking, too, of a lot of journalists. I mean, like, going back to who is this phone for, there's a lot of journalists I know that really like the smaller phones and the form factor. And I think the whole industry, just with the first Galaxy Note and the popularity of that, we're just like, oh, big phones, and like, let's go. And like we created these massive phones, and then the ones that aren't so massive are sort of the new standard, but they're still really big. And I think there's still a lot of people, like I was saying, that like these smaller 4-inch displays. And I'm kind of intrigued by it. I don't want to spend that kind of money on another iPhone, and I already have the 6S Plus, and it just seems kind of stupid. But I could see where the attraction would come in, that people want all the latest specs, but in a much smaller form factor. What really irks me, though, is the old Touch ID technology. Like, why use that if you have something available? And like, how much does it cost? At the end of the day, like, maybe the consumer, like, to trickle down between the old and the new, like, it can't be huge. So it's like, I guess Apple's sitting on a surplus of these parts, but to the consumer, you're giving them something that's like, you have better technology and you're giving something older. Like, why do that? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's probably saving them pennies per unit, and when you multiply that times the entire production line, that adds up. But I agree with you. Now, your average consumer is going to not have a clue that there's a second generation Touch ID. But yeah, I agree with you. It doesn't make any sense to me to not put in the latest greatest.
Yeah,
I don't get it, but I don't know. And moving on to the iPad Pro, we all were sitting around wondering, where's the iPad Air 3? I would assume the iPad Air line is now dead.
Yeah, I think so.
But we'll still have, the ones that are on the market, since they're still selling the Air 2 and the Mini 4. But I don't think we're going to have an iPad Air 3 now. I think they're probably just going to go iPad Pro. And to me, that's a problem, because it starts at $100 more for the base unit. Then the next available size up, which I can't see myself ever going back to 32 gigs. On an iPad, I cannot be at 32 gigs simply because of movies, apps, all that stuff.
Right.
So it's a $150 jump, though, to the 128. So I'm already basically $250 over. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I just don't know. And they're making a big, it's got 4 speakers. How often do you sit around listening to your iPad out loud?
Yeah, not that often. That's the other thing, too. Brings up the point that, iPad sales are down, and I didn't see anything that's like, I need this. And that's what Apple has we've been saying, like, Apple needs to create a reason for consumers to buy a new iPad. The Apple Pencil, maybe if it came included, I'd be like, oh, that's cool, but it's not included, and the keyboard's not included. And so while it can do these other things, there's no reason for me to go out and buy this iPad. I don't feel like it's an upgrade. And I think a lot of consumers are going to do the same thing. And, sales are going to keep going down. But I also think that's why they did, I'm guessing these were probably ready around the same time. And I think they did the iPad Pro first because it was like that bigger splash product. And if they had just done this, would have been like, so it's an iPad that works with a pencil. Like, it doesn't feel that much crazier.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't that excited. And yeah, and Sachin Bahal asks, why do you think Apple just didn't announce the iPad Air 3 instead of the iPad Pro 9.7? I don't know. I really don't know. For them financially, it probably makes more sense, but for consumers, I'm just like, no, I'm fine, thanks. And they were talking about, it's so much faster than the iPad Air 2. Don't really care. I've never once looked at my iPad Air 2 and gone, oh, why are you so sluggish?
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like it speaks, wonders for Apple's older products that hold up really well in a lot of cases. So it's like, again, that's the upgrade problem. Nobody's finding a reason to upgrade. And me, like I was saying, I really like the Surface products. I like Windows 10, and I just feel like I can do I can actually do work on the Surface Pro S, Tab Pro S from Samsung. The keyboard's way better than what I've used on Surface, at least in my opinion. And so I feel like that's something yesterday I had a home inspection. Like, I just threw it in my bag in case I needed to do something. Like, that's the product that's perfect for that. And an iPad, I'm not so sure I could do everything I need for work with that. And I don't want to pay that kind of cost.
I didn't discuss this with you pre-show, Todd, but I saw something go past about it. Can we divert for a second and discuss what the heck happened with the Tay AI?
Yeah, oh jeez.
Okay, so obviously we're not going to quote what it ended up saying.
Yeah.
Because it's horrific. But for those that aren't familiar, Microsoft launched a new AI Twitter account where you could talk to it and would eventually learn from you. It only took 24 hours for the internet to completely ruin it. All this morning when this story was coming out, all I kept thinking in my head was, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, right. This is why we can't have nice robots.
So somehow the internet taught her to be racist, to be anti-Semitic, and to praise Hitler.
Just the things. So yeah, it was like, if for people that didn't see it yesterday, she was like Tay. They said like, she has zero cool, just like this funny robot that learns from you. It reminded me a lot of the AOL Instant Messenger, the AIM bots that you used to have like back in the day. You could talk to them and be like, hey, how's your day? And they'd be kind of like off, like, my day is good. How's your day, Todd? Or should I call you Todd or Robo Todd and stuff like that. And it was really kind of stupid. Like, I thought it was going to be way more impressive at first, but it wasn't. And then today she's just like off her rocker, I don't know how. I was saying, like, did 4chan get to her or something? Like, just saying the most terrible things all over Twitter. And there's a lot of news sites that have quotes if you search it. But
yeah, we don't feel the need to run those.
Yeah, but it's just like how did that happen? Because apparently she like learns from her users, and clearly users were treating her poorly. And then she was, quoting it back out to them.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it. I mean,
and I'm surprised Microsoft didn't have like certain words blocked in the first place.
Yeah, that's surprising. Or the fact that they let it go on for so long. Was nobody monitoring it?
I'm guessing.
I'm sorry, the first day you launch something like that, you typically want someone sitting around going, oh, that looks fine. No, let's not say that, Tay. No, Tay.
Right.
Have they pulled her offline yet, or is she still talking?
I don't know what they did. I don't think she was pulled offline. I'm looking. A&U is the oh, she's still there. Well, as of 12 hours ago. See you soon, humans. Need sleep now. So many conversations today.
Yeah, so
there's only 2 tweets sitting there.
In other words, Microsoft pulled her offline and it was like, we need to retool the software.
Nap time, Tay. Yeah.
Tay, you need a nap.
Oh, man. Yeah, like the more humans share with me, the more I learn. Wednesday wisdom. But there's, not that I would quote it anyway, but it looks like most of the bad ones are pulled off.
Yeah, they said they were going to pull those off. Breaking news while we've been sitting here from the Hollywood Reporter. Paul McCartney to appear in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Wow. All right.
What? I mean, Keith Richards appearing as Jack's father made sense. Paul McCartney's going to be his grandfather? I don't.
Maybe.
Who knows? So moving on to the questions. And I didn't realize this. Sachin Bahal points out that last week actually marked the 2-year anniversary of the TechnoBuffalo Show.
Hey.
That's huzzah! Cool. 2 years of us rambling. From Mr. Sean, do you think we will see the MacBook Air eliminated from Apple's lineup? We're hearing rumors of new MacBooks for the summer, possibly even thinner. I would say probably the MacBook Air's days are numbered.
Unless the way I see it existing still is like there's the MacBook, like 3, like it used to be. There's the MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, and like how it is now. And you get like MacBooks just super thin and light with USB-C, and that's it. And then you get MacBook Air with, say, Retina, and you get the couple extra ports, but still super thin. But you get like Core. So you have the Core M on the MacBook, and then you get Core i3, i5, i7. And then I think you have MacBook Pro with a bunch more and, discrete graphics and stuff. I think that's my guess is you get all 3. But it's totally possible. You get rid of the MacBook Air and you just have MacBook.
Yeah,
definitely needs a Retina display. That much is like, come on.
Yeah, I'm going to be sticking with the MacBook Pro, so.
Yeah.
Boo. From Sachin Bahal, did any of you pre-order the PlayStation VR? Why or why not? The only one I know on staff that did get a pre-order in was Joey. For me, I'm still not sold on VR in the home, and I'm definitely waiting to hear reviews and hear what Joey thinks. I'm not ready to drop that money on something I'm not positive is going to be that great. Yeah,
I'm the same way. I'm waiting on reviews because I've used a bunch of the VR ones, and I think Oculus and Rift from HTC are really cool. Little out of my budget, and that's kind of the experience I want. And so I'm a little worried that and Sony admitted that the PlayStation VR is not as powerful. That I'm worried it's going to be like very Gear VR like. And for $400 again, that's a little expensive. But if it supports a bunch of games and stuff, then I'll probably dive right in. But I just want to, again, like you, I want to see the reviews first.
Yeah, totally. I don't know. From Brazen Franco, how long since last time we heard the TechnoBuffalo Show song? It's on the audio podcast every week. I'm not sure what you're referring to. From Sachin Bahal, I had a Nexus 7 2013 and it's basically bricked. I don't know if I should get an NVIDIA Shield K1 tablet or get a Nexus 9. I'm looking at Android tablet that would be under $400 or so, and screen size isn't a big issue. I haven't used the Shield K1. I do have a Nexus 9, which I enjoy. But I know, Todd, that you've used the K1.
I don't have the K1. I have the other one, the first one with the battery problems. And basically, they just refreshed it and called it the K1 and sort of a cheaper price and a different body. I really like that. That's the one I would recommend getting, definitely. But I don't know when NVIDIA is going to refresh it. So,
right.
Because that one wasn't new. I mean, it was new in the sense it didn't have a battery that exploded.
Well, that's always helpful.
Right.
I prefer
that's why they basically released it.
Yeah, I prefer to not have my electronics explode. I know, call me silly.
But that's, by far probably my favorite Android tablet still, because you can plug it into the TV and you get, with a controller, you get that full experience. You can actually stream PC games and stuff like that.
So. From Mr. Sean, Todd, what have you returned lately?
Nothing. I bought my own S7 Edge that I'm still hanging on to here. That I like. I've got in a case. I don't. Yeah, I didn't return. I have to send some products back, like review products.
Yeah, that doesn't count though.
That doesn't count. I know. I haven't. I mean, to be honest, I haven't spent that much on. I'm trying to hold myself back a little bit.
Well, you are, for those that don't know, Todd is in the process of buying a house.
Yeah. So my wife would kill me. If I wasn't buying a house, I probably would have thought about the iPad Pro a little bit more. But again, as I was like, I told you my litmus test, I go to the Apple website and I'm like, how do I want it? And I didn't even have that, like, I just want to play with it for 30 days desire and send it back. So I don't think it's for me.
Yeah. Well, you've been a good boy lately. And this is a old joke in the TechnoBuffalo Show, Tech on the Range lore. From Sachin Bahal, have you guys seen Pitch Perfect 2? I know it came out last year, but I just watched it again recently. And if so, do you like it more or less than the original? And are you excited for the third movie coming next year? For those that don't know, Todd and I have both admitted repeatedly that we're big fans of Pitch Perfect.
How can you not be?
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
But Pitch Perfect 2, we have both seen it. I know my feelings are I enjoyed it, but I do not feel it was as good as the original. Yeah, but I am still looking forward to the third one.
Yeah, I liked the original a lot. I liked the second one. I think I've only seen the second one like once, and I own the first one, so if that shows anything. And of course, I'm excited for the third one. I mean, I hope that keeps going. But
I think the rule in almost every comedy sequel, and it's a downfall in all of them, is they always look at, okay, what did audiences really laugh at in the first one? Okay, we just need to find a new way to do that again.
Right.
Plus add in a couple new things. And I just, it never works well. I don't want to see just more of the same. I want to see more.
Something different. Right.
Yeah, something different, exactly. From Mr. Sean, thoughts on the Nintendo NX console and leaked controller image yesterday, which there was another leak today. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I feel about this thing yet.
I'm not convinced.
I mean, it's showing up so much at this point. And let me just say, the official TechnoBuffalo company stance on this is that these are rumors. We do not have any confirmation whatsoever that these images are official. Well, they're definitely not official, but of the actual controller. I don't get it yet. I'm going to have to see a full-on demo to see if it makes even remote sense. It's just,
I don't buy them. I don't buy them, but I've been tricked before, and that's probably why. I've seen so many leaked phones over the years. I think, to me, even the one today that was like the video, it looked like somebody just kind of like took a video clip and overlaid it on top again. But I have no idea. They look cool. I hope it's real. At least, it's also possible too that, like we've talked about lost in translation things, like somebody somewhere, and I don't know because I didn't follow these rumors, but I'm just saying, somebody somewhere sees somebody posts a rumor image, it's a leak, and then they take that, they modify it a little bit for their own, and then it's lost in translation across the world and comes back again. Oh, here it is running a video, and you're like, I don't know how real that is.
Yeah. From Sachin Bahal, do you think Apple is working on a VR headset of some kind? Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be, I think I've said this before, it'd be so stupid to sit that out right now, only because everybody's doing it. I think Apple could do it well, in some fashion. Don't do it the way LG, and I think I'm answering another question right here, but LG's 360 VR, Sachin Bahal asked if it'll be less than $200, and I think the rumor yesterday was that it's going to be $200, which is obscene. It is not good. The one I used at Mobile World Congress was, like leaking light at the bottom and to hold it on. It was not crisp. It was just, I was like, what is this? But, I thought, okay, it'll compete with Google Cardboard. Maybe it'll cost $50 and that's that. But if it's $200, get out of here because the Gear VR beats it hands down every day.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. If that pricing is the real pricing, I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah. It's under $100 then.
From Mr. Sean, Todd, how are you enjoying the Under Armour box and health band? Do you think eventually we will see sensors in all clothing?
I'm loving it. I've been trying to lose weight. I think I've been doing a pretty good job. I wear the band still, just sort of like to keep me going, but the Scale I use every single day, so I've been like logging since I guess right after CES, since late January, or not, I guess early January, and then I wear the heart rate monitor in the gym, which is good for just giving me a little more accurate assessment of how many calories I've burned versus the machines, which don't do the best job. So I really like it, but the most important thing for me is the app, which is free. So if you can get something that links up with that, because it just shows you your progress, your goals, what you've eaten, if you're keeping track of it through MyFitnessPal and everything like that. So you don't really have to spend anything. Just use the app and weigh yourself and log it all.
Cool. Yep.
It's called UA Record, by the way.
I'm still avoiding getting into true health. I mean, yes, I do. I have a Fitbit, which, as you see, it's not on my wrist at the moment. When I'm just sitting at my desk, I have yet another thing on my wrist.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm not getting into all the health tracking and all that. I get on my treadmill enough. I'm fine with it.
That's like, I guess that's what it's the only way that got me into it, is just tracking it all. So like even down to sleep and everything, because this automatically tracks sleep. It's the only way that I could get interested in it. Was having like some kind of tech behind it. So it's been good for me.
From Brazen Franco, what do you think of Pebble's layoffs? Is this the end? Is it the end of the only smartwatch manufacturer that gave importance to battery life? I don't know. The whole smartwatch situation is just odd to me. Nobody was that interested until the Apple Watch came along. Then the Apple Watch, while doing well, isn't doing great. I don't know how long smartwatches are for this world overall.
I mean, you'll notice I'm not wearing mine anymore. I have the Apple Watch. I haven't worn that since before Mobile World Congress, actually. And I've been wearing most of the time. I'm trying to look around my desk, just my regular watch that my wife got me. So, I mean, I guess this is a smartwatch too. I don't know. I don't have it set up for notifications or anything.
No, I still wear my Pebble, which I should be careful about turning the screen towards it since there's an email on it right now. But yeah, I like it. Is it essential to my life? No, but like when I'm traveling, I really love it.
Yeah, they're great for travel.
But when I'm home, Sachin, I gave your birthday shout out already. He was reminding me not to forget. Yes, I said it earlier. Anyway. Moving on down the line here from Mr. Sean. Thoughts on the new Tesla being announced at the end of March, starting at $35,000? Do you think you will eventually have an electric car, and how soon? I would love to have an electric car. The big problem for me is I live out on a dirt road, and so living without four-wheel drive is just not even a concept for me, unfortunately. I think, Todd, for you, city driving though.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I'm more of a truck guy myself, though, too. I have a SUV, and I'll probably stick to that.
Yeah.
Same thing, though, because we drive in the snow. We like to go skiing and snowboarding and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's every time I go out to Irvine and, I see a Tesla or some other electric car. We have an electric car on loan to the company, and I'll go driving around. John's like, how long do you get one? I'm like, until it can pull somebody out of a ditch. No.
Yeah, 35,000 seems pretty nice though, because after you get tax credits too, right? So it brings up the price.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure if that 35,000's after tax credits though or not.
Might be.
From Sachin Bahal, what do you guys think of Vizio's new P series, which, just to be clear, they are display with Google Cast in them and aren't TVs because there's no TV tuner in them. I think they would be worth it if they did have tuners in them. Yeah, I don't get that idea. I mean, like there's Roku TVs, which you at least have the ability to plug in. To me, there's a lot more to a Roku TV than these Cast TVs. But
wait, so what's the big deal about a tuner though? Like, when's the last time I used a tuner?
It just seems odd though. You're basically buying a screen,
right?
Yeah, I don't know, but you do have a good point. I mean, not that many people use tuners anymore.
You need a cable box anyway.
Yeah, but it does seem odd to buy a TV with, especially basically you're buying a Chromecast with a screen attached to it.
monitor. I don't know.
Yeah, since the Chromecast requires other things to work, I just don't know.
I mean, does it not have the coax cable in? That would make
that
sense.
I don't know.
I mean, not that you use them really that much anymore, but you just use HDMI from your cable bus.
No,
I don't know.
President Franco said, completely forgot about daylight savings starting early in the U.S. I would just like to see daylight savings time go away completely.
You know what it's good for, though? For us, like you and I, in the colder months and it's dark, it's nice having daylight last longer in the day.
Yes.
Like you feel like you're out of winter. So I like it for that.
Yes. However, considering the time I get up and come to work, I'm usually in my office by 5:15. So I'm coming to work in the dark.
Right.
It's odd. Let's see, from Braze and Franco, what do you think about Apple only putting 2 gigs of RAM in the 9.7 iPad Pro? Shouldn't it be supposed to run the same Pro apps as the 12-inch one and therefore meet the same RAM requirements? You'd think.
I was thinking the same thing, and then I was like, I mean, when you think of processors and stuff, it has to power fewer pixels, but I don't know. It does seem weird that it wouldn't have the same amount of RAM.
Yeah, Apple's always been so weird about RAM. I
think they're ultimately like always just about like, oh, well, the experience is fine, and that's why we don't talk about.
Yeah, whatever. I'm sorry. Just grow up and throw more RAM at things. So we're running low on questions this week, but I will throw this one in here from Mr. Sean. Do you enjoy working from home? What are the advantages and disadvantages? Ever wish you had an actual office away from home? Well, for those that don't know, you see those of you on video, you see this background. This is not actually my house. This is a separate building on the same property as my house, but it's not in my house. So for me, I still feel at least somewhat separated. And I like coming here to work instead of my house because there's 6 dogs at home that don't know that dad's working, and I can't play with them 24/7 or listen to them bark. But how do you? I mean, Todd, since you live in a apartment, which is much smaller, how do you?
No, it gets to me. Those who are tuning in, you can see I'm sitting in my office, living room, kitchen, which is like more than half my apartment. So yeah, it can get kind of it's not lonesome. Like you just get cabin fever. Like you're like, I gotta get out of here. So I'm happy that soon I'll have like a home to live in with a little more space, and I'll have my own office and I can kind of go around. But not so much anymore. But when I first started TechnoBuffalo, I was usually like in a diner or a coffee shop as much as I could be. But that's because my apartment in New York was way smaller than this one. It was like, if you could imagine, 370 square feet, I think, which is just like
dude. I've stayed in hotel rooms that are larger.
It was like, so it was basically a closet, and I worked at the end of my bed, so like I couldn't work there. So I would always be out working somewhere else. But these days, I have a hard time. Like I'll go days, sometimes it'll come Friday, and I'll be like, Sean, I haven't left my apartment.
Yeah,
which is crazy. So
there are times where Todd goes, Sean, I haven't left my apartment in a week. I'm like, dude, go, leave.
I gotta go do something. And when that happens, I'll try to go like eat pizza at a pizza shop or something, just like to be around humans again. It's crazy.
So while this is a separate building from my house, they're on the same piece of property. I have been known to go as long as 2 weeks without leaving the property.
Yeah,
because it's just like, Amazon brings me everything I need.
Yeah, that's the thing. And like, I don't mean, I don't leave my apartment building. There's a gym in the building, and I'll go downstairs to pick up my food. But like, there's, I'm not going very far.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, you do leave that, that square footage,
cubicle. Right? Yeah,
but you don't like leave the building that much. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Yes, there's a whole wide world of people out there, Todd.
I know. It's crazy.
Good grief. Well, folks, that is going to bring this episode to a close. Just a little bit of housekeeping. There will not be an episode next week as I will be out in Irvine, and it's always difficult to record while I'm out there. I know you would think, oh, it's so you've got all the rest of the staff around you. Yeah, we're also, because I only go out there 3 weeks a year, we're busy trying to cram a lot of stuff into the week. Or we take off early in the afternoon and Roy takes me to Disneyland.
Yeah.
One of the other happens. But so there will be no episode next week, so we'll be back in 2 weeks. Until then, as always, we appreciate you joining us. You can find the TechnoBuffalo Show on the iTunes Store by searching for the show name. We do appreciate if you rate and review us. That does help out while we're with us. Yes, Mr. Sean, I will be going to Disneyland at some point while I'm in California. I do every trip. It's hard to resist. And you can also subscribe to us on Pocket Cast. You can subscribe via RSS feed, or you can find us on the Stitcher app, which means you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Until next time, I'm Sean Ani. I'm the editor-in-chief of TechnoBuffalo. I've been joined by Deputy Managing Editor Todd Hazelton.
Bye, everybody.
Until next time, take it easy. Bye-bye.